Wheel goes round and round, and the little live button comes up, and we are live.
I like that. It says you are live.
Live.
And there's a zero by the little wave as well.
Live or alive? I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah.
Good
I was just told
evening.
that we're live.
Good evening.
See
If you are watching, do please pop a hello. Oh, there we are. Look, we're online. Look, if you are watching, do pop a hello in the comments so that we can be polite and say hello back, or point fingers at you. You know how it goes. Good evening, Maria. I won't say good evening, Cherie, because you're in Minnesota, so I'm guessing it's not the evening over there. And I know there's lots of you watching because I can see them.
Hello, Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, Raven. Good evening, Railway Cat. I like that. Good evening, Deb. Good evening, Rosemary. I'm not looking at my feet. I'm looking at my phone because some of the names don't come up on the screen. Good evening, Kerry. Good evening, Sarah. Lots of lovely people watching. Good evening, Dawn. Oh, it's Eve. Oh, I can see your little picture now, Eve, with your top hat on and your goggles, which sounds like a strange sentence, doesn't it? Good evening, Otika. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I know who you are, obviously.
Just wow.
Used to saying your name out. Dawn from Texas. Eric. How's Eric? Eric's sitting next to me under a blanket, hopefully fast asleep. I think we're all the dogs are here this evening. Good evening, Patsy. Jane, blessings from exotic Wolverhampton. I've never been to Wolverhampton. It might be exotic. Good evening, Jalala. Good evening, Kay. Good evening, Max. Shout out to Sprig and Mist. If you want some very, very decent pagan music, Sprig and Mist is the way to go. Do have a look at their website, their Facebook page. Good evening, Lizzie. Good evening, Susan from West Sussex. I'd say the weather's much the same, but it's dark outside now, so I can't see. Oh, we have a Wolverhampton contingency. Hi, Debbie in Hammersmith. Oh, not so far from us. Closer to Heather.
Hi, Debbie.
Than us. But my geography's rubbish, so you know. Good evening, Xenia from rainy Germany. Good evening, all the dogs. Yeah, Eric's beside me asleep. Is Bazzy under you, Heather?
No, she's got in the other room now.
She's had enough. Yeah. That's it. Denver, is he still? He was under your chair earlier. He's got. And Izzy, is she with us?
No, she's up in bed.
Yeah.
We wore her out.
We've put them off, obviously. This is Deb. Took a flying trip back over to the orchards in Canada for more pears and cider. So happy we made it back in time for the ritual. Well, any trip for pears and ciders, I reckon, is a good deal. Definitely. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We had a bit of a break. Good evening, Amanda. It is lovely to be back with you guys. Good morning, Nikki. I don't even want to know what time it is in New Zealand. Probably way past my bedtime. It's lovely to be back with you. We had a bit of a break in the summer because we had a lot of stuff going on. In fact, we've got a lot of stuff going on for the rest of the year, really. It's all a bit chaotic and twirly. But we are going to try and do more regular online rituals for you guys. And we're going to try and keep them non-Sabbath specific, because I know so many of our students and our community are not in England, and some are in the Southern Hemisphere as well. So doing the Sabbats gets a little bit confusing. So we're going to be doing some regular rituals, but we're going to keep them more specific to kind of the energy of the month, but so that everyone, wherever you are in the globe, can work with them. That's the plan anyway. And of course, we'll have some of their mad crafts as well, although this evening's isn't quite that mad, but we'll throw some of those in as well. Xenia was just listening, not reading the chat, and understood peasant cider. Peasant cider, yeah. Peasant cider is probably the stuff you get in Somerset that's got all the bits, all the bits of string and dead rat and things. I've drunk cider like that. Hi, Heather, who is working in the garden, hot, dirty, and worn out, sending greetings from Florida. Yeah, probably a lot warmer than. Oh no, I was going to say a lot warmer, but October in England is normally, you know, autumn, chilly. It was boiling hot today. It's gone mad. It's gone very mad. Yeah, Mother Nature. Okay, it's Little Miss Nemo. Got toasted sourdough with chocolate hazelnut spread and marshmallow fluff. Oh, I love marshmallow fluff.
That sounds nice.
Oh, I didn't mean to offend Somerset. I love Somerset. It's a very nice county, but some of their rough ciders definitely got bits in it. Suspicious bits in it. Bonsoir, Cornelia. Bonsoir. What else we've got here? Yeah, no, please, I don't mean to offend anyone. You know me, I don't try and offend anyone. Good evening, Karen. Maria just wants it to be autumn. Yeah, I'm with you, Maria. I am absolutely with you. Celia, no bodies in the cider. There wasn't there? Midsummer Murder, body in the cider. Love Midsummer Murders. Brilliant program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. I think I'm just making sure
we're up to season 9 now.
You've got a long way to go. Aren't they on 22 or 23 or something mad?
Yeah, we've been watching from the start. So yeah, we're up to season 9 now, so we're getting there.
Eve has two grandkids for a sleepover. They're both nearly 16. Excellent. That's fantastic. I'm going to attempt. I'm a cider drinker. Yeah, me too. You like a bit of cider? Oh, that's Pamez, isn't it? Sorry, I apologise for my dreadful accents. Right, I'm going to stop talking before I offend anybody else. So we have a ritual this evening, which is based on connecting with the ancestors, but to work with the pendulum. We're going to have, I've got some bits and pieces to make pendulums to show you what you can make pendulums out of. We're also going to do a little blessing within the ritual for a pendulum if you make one, or if you've got a pendulum already that you work with, there's a little blessing within this ritual that you can bless a pendulum that you've already got made for you. So very simple craft today to break you back into things gently. We'll get something more complicated next time. Talking about dead bodies now. Oh, there's one for you, Heather. Love your light up broom. Sparkly. Every witch should have a sparkly broom, obviously.
I didn't see that. Where's that?
Absolutely.
Here we are. Let's get that up here. There we go. That's Xenia, that one.
Oh, thank you, Xenia.
Right, I have, I've got so many bits and pieces on here. I'm trying not to knock all the pendulums and stuff on the floor, because that wouldn't be good, would it? Let's get some of these up. This is Heather. Just as an aside, while I work in my garden, I know that my dear departed daddy and my granddad are with me in spirit and guiding my hands. They were great gardeners, and I have an ancestor that was the gardener to Alexander Graham Bell. Woo, get you. Yeah, my dad taught me all I know about gardening, and my granddad was a good gardener as well. It's it gets handed down, doesn't it? Who's only got
Strange,
6
'cause
pendulums?
mine-
Rosemary. This is Rosemary.
Only
Look,
got-
this is Confessions. Confessions of a Witch. She only has 6 pendulums.
How many do you have if you're down to 6?
I've only got 3 here, but I have possibilities for more. This
just got-
one is Patsy. Perfect. Just starting to work with ancestors and just found my pendulum out. Perfect timing. That's what we like. We like perfect timing. Good evening, Barbara. Or good morning, or good afternoon, or, you know, I get a bit lost on times. Yeah. Railway cat. Need a pendulum to locate your pendulum. Yeah. Nikki, can't find anything in the middle of a Renault. Oh, I know what that's like. I know what that's like. Well, this is being recorded, so it will be on replay for when you find it. So, if everyone is ready, we've got here Xenia has an Isis pendulum and it can be filled. Probably not with bodies, but with small parts. If you grind them up small, it'll be fine. Rosemary had 9 but lost some in moving in the last round. Work with the ancestors doing genealogy every day. Today we are going to call upon ancestors in general. Not when I think when you say the word ancestors, people think, oh, that's my grandfather, my great grandfather, or grandmother, whatever. Ancestors in general don't have to be blood relatives. This is about calling on the energy of all of those that have gone past. So not specific is probably the best way of describing it. Good evening, Vanessa. So that's what we're going to be working with today. We'll draw on the energy and see where it takes us. So, right. I think anybody that's found us is going to find us. So we will make a start. And it's me. Oh, can you tell we haven't done this for a while? So talk a little bit about my brain has this week's been chaos. But there we go. When we connect as witches, sorcerers, wizards, magicians, whatever you want to call yourself, we connect with magical energy of Mother Nature. I do it every morning when I take Eric out, while he's doing his thing. I connect with the energy of the day. I connect with the energy of the plants in my garden. I connect with the energy of the ground beneath my feet. That ground beneath your feet has layer upon layer of energy. Ancestors, history, memories of things that have gone before you. And I think we are all part of the web of weird. We are all connected. We're all connected to each other, but we're all connected to the land and the ancestors and the history that goes beyond into the other world. And we can draw upon that energy. I call it, the Romans called it genus loci, which is spirit of place. Every location has a spirit, has an energy. My house has an energy. Even modern buildings and land has energy, because there's all those layers of memories that go below and that have been beforehand. I'm not really talking about ghosts, for want of a better word, or spirits of those long dead, but the energy of the place that's made up from the memories that it holds on to, the energy of the buildings, of the land itself. And I think memories for me is quite a good description. Echoes, maybe. That for me is the energy of the land. And if you are finding it difficult where you live, or in a place where you don't feel connected, open your senses up and connect with the energy of the land. A place doesn't have to be a sacred place for you to feel connected, because all of the land has an energy to it. It is just about opening up and making a connection with it. So there's my thing. They are. rosemary, ancestors of place, ancestors that you connect with through the path, as well as actual blood ancestors. I think it can be quite a misleading word, can't it? Because I think we do immediately go to blood relatives, but it is much bigger than that, much, much bigger. So yeah, that's my waffling. So Ness, when you're ready. Is Ness still with us?
Oh, it's gone. Yeah, so the sound
back.
went completely then.
Now you're back. When you're ready, Ness.
just went completely silent. Here now. Going to connect to your sacred space. Take 3 long, deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth.
Standing or sitting with both hands on your heart, say, from my heart,
From my heart.
stretching both hands up into the air, to the sky.
To the sky.
To the sky.
Putting both hands on or facing down to the earth, as close to it as you can get. Say, to the land.
To the land.
To the land.
To the land. Putting both hands on your heart. Say, to my heart.
To my heart.
Leaving both hands on your heart, say, from my heart.
From my heart.
From my
From
heart.
my heart.
Reach out your right hand to all points on the compass.
To all
All
points.
points on the compass.
On the compass.
Reach out your left hand and place your right hand on your heart and say, to all directions.
To all directions.
To all directions.
Putting both hands on your heart. Say, to my heart.
To my heart.
She is ancient. She is the landscape beneath our feet. She is the mountains and the hills. She is the rock and stone that leads down to the shore. She is wisdom. She is knowledge. She is mysteries. She is the old hag. She is the Kalach. We call to you of wise and ancient one to lend your wisdom and seer abilities to this ritual. Welcome the Kalach.
Welcome, the Kalach.
Today we are looking at a form of divination that can benefit from the energy of the ancestors, calling upon them to help guide you with your readings in the form of the pendulum. You might already own a pendulum, and if you do, we are going to walk you through a small blessing ritual that you can use for it. If you are making your pendulum today, now is the time to put the pieces together, and we will bless and charge it afterwards. You will need a crystal point, key, ring, hagstone or pendant, something with a hole in and a bit of weight to it is best. A lightweight chain, an old necklace works well. Ribbon, cord or string can be used if not. 10 to 14 inches is perfect. If your object doesn't have a hole in it, you will need to wire wrap it. If you haven't done this before and you can make your pendulum later, unless you have everything you need and know what you're doing. There are lots of good instructional videos on YouTube. The easiest way to make a pendulum is with an old chain and a crystal pendant that still has the loop on the top. Attach the chain fastener to the loop on the pendant and voila, you have a pendulum. Otherwise, attach your chain, string or ribbon to your weighted object in whatever way you feel will work. Please post photos of your pendulums on the Kitchen Witch Coven or student page, whether you make them now or later.
Because we like to be nosy and we like to see what everyone's up to.
Are we doing a quick show and tell?
Yeah, go for it, Heather. I've got a hagstone here. What have you got?
So I've got an antler.
Ooh.
An antler. Woohoo.
Very nice. Anyone else want to show and tell?
I've got my one that Sue gifted me from one of the camps last year. And it's lovely.
Oh,
it's very,
yeah.
very heavy, and you can put
I've-
herbs and things inside as well. It's sort of like the top comes off, and then yeah, you
Nice.
can pop bits
Very
inside.
nice.
I love
Clever
it.
stuff.
I have my Old Faithful. It's a wooden one. I've got lots of crystal ones, but I'd like to keep one in my handbag, and the crystal ones invariably get knocked about and chipped. So I have this little wooden one.
That's ideal, isn't it, for carrying
Yeah.
around?
Nice.
I have got my Old Faithful, which is a red jasper one. I've had that for years and years. But there is one here that's an old crystal pendant on a rope.
Nice.
And that's a seed of some sort. I think I had it in a box in one of the Fres.
Yeah, I got one too. Yeah, I can't remember what it was.
But I got some other bits. This is my son's just come in the kitchen and I've just realised I didn't ask him. I've got your pendant here. This is one of my son's old pendants. And it is just a charm on I'll hold it up here. It is just a charm on a piece of suede thong. But worked perfectly well as a pendulum. But I've got hagstone, holy stone. Got Eric, who's calling to the Kalak, I think. I've got a couple of ceramic beads here, which make quite, because they're quite heavy. It's got to be weighty enough to hold the ribbon down. Couple of big buttons. They would need to be on embroidery thread, I think, rather than ribbon or string or something. And then just a charm, one of the metal charms. A shell, if it's heavy enough. That's a tiny shell. I ran a workshop last weekend and all of my hagstones bar one and my shells went to the workshop. But string, ribbon, and all you need to do, it's really easy, isn't it? I've done it as well with the really, really big poppy seed heads. You need one that's quite, you need one that's quite heavy. So you need the really big opium oriental poppy type ones. But yeah, I mean, I've just put the hagstone on a piece of string. You could tie a bit of knot around it. It's one of the easiest things to make. As long as you've got a bit of weight, you can make.
Keys are good as well if you've got a key.
Oh yes, that would work, wouldn't it? Oh, and you've got the symbology of keys as well with that, haven't you?
Opening things up.
Opening doorways, opening to the other world. So yeah, lots of. Oh, the other thing that I hooked out was, I don't know if you can see it, tattoo needle from the very lovely Susie, who does our ritual tattoos for us. That's quite weighty. I thought on a bit of embroidery thread, you've got blood magic in that as well. I thought that would work quite well on a piece of thread. I am going to give that a try, but I've moved everything around and couldn't find my embroidery thread.
I remind you when I don't know if anyone did it with you when you were pregnant and they put a wedding ring on a hair, was it? And one of your hair and hang over your stomach to see whether you're having a boy or a girl.
Yeah, that's quite an old photo.
Yeah.
We got here. Julie has a sunstone pendulum I've only used twice. I think the thing with pendulums, and I don't know what you guys think, I think you have to build up your energy with them, don't you? I think, although you're quite often drawn to a particular one first, you have to keep it with you. You have to work with it. It's a bit like any divination set, really, isn't it? I'm sure with the runes is the same, but tarot cards is the same. You've got to build that connection and add your energy to them.
You've got to have a relationship with them.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I think whatever tool it is, isn't it? I'm going to have that one. Let's use that one. All right, let's move all these out the way. Probably don't need that anymore. There we are.
Right, so
Otika has, sorry, Heather, Otika has a lapis lazuli. Oh, I love lapis.
Oh, nice.
Tonight will be the first time I've worked with it. Excellent. So you can give it a blessing, a little consecration to get it to work with you. The reason I also that I called on the Kalach, I mean, I do work with her. She is my goddess. There's Eric's nose in the picture. Oh. Hello. It's a pendulum.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
It could be a,
It's like,
it
what
could be a
is that?
treat.
I don't want to be eating them. The reason I call them on the Kalach, because I do work with her. I work with her a lot. She's my goddess, but she's often depicted as being blind in one eye, which is a very good representation symbol for those that work with seer, those that can see beyond. I think Odin's quite often shown blind in one eye, isn't it? So that's why I've called on the Kalach for this ritual. You don't have to work with deity. You can call on ancestor energy. You can call on divine. You can call on the elementals, whatever you work with. But I think for me, particularly, we are in October, so this time of the year the veil is thinning. And if you're on the other side of the world, it's still October and the veil is still thinning. So you can use that energy, that connection with the other world to help you answer questions and to work with divination of all kinds. Amanda has 5 pendulums, but only 2 of them feel connected. Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? I've got some that I bought because I thought, oh, that's nice. And then it never really felt a connection. So yeah, you definitely need to have that to be able to work with them successfully, I think. Maria has a rose quartz one, but keys sound good. Yeah. Debbie has a labradorite pendulum on silk cord. Oh, that's one of Sue's favourites, labradorite. Barbara has rutilated quartz, lots of fine silver threads. Oh, I like rutilated quartz. They're fascinating stones. It has to work for you. Doesn't need to be a crystal. It can be, as I say, anything. Pebble, stone, shell, necklace, whatever you want to use. So there you go. Sorry, Heather, I'll let you go. Go for it.
That's fine. I'm all right sitting here. Okay. So once you've created your pendulum, or you've got the one that you normally use or are intending to use, if you do or can use incense indoors, then now's the time to light some. Or if you're like me and you can't, then you might want to use some oil. You can use an essential oil or anything. So if you've got olive oil, almond oil, whatever you've got handy, because it's your intention that's going to matter. If you're using incense, you're going to need to hold your pendulum and pass it through the smoke. If you're using oil, then you're going to need to get a drop of the oil onto a finger, just one drop, not lots. Massage it and then rub it onto your pendulum. As you are doing either of those things, you need to say incense, smoke, oil, to cleanse and consecrate, psychic connection from my ancestors and clarity to create, draw upon the magic of the ancestors of mine, my psychic abilities will be more than just fine. Pass the pendulum back through the smoke or dab some more oil on and say, smoke of incense or oil to cleanse and consecrate, ancestors' psychic connection and clarity to create. Allow your incense to burn out, and then you can repeat the questions you need to recharge your pendulum.
I did just put it outside because it's too smoky.
My oil smells really nice. I'm going to sniff my hands now.
Come on in.
What one have you got, Heather?
Oh, good question, Ness. This one has got hemp seed oil, patchouli, geranium, and rose.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Lovely.
You don't have to have any fancy oil.
Yeah.
If you want to work with oil, you can just use olive oil from the kitchen.
Yep. Sunflower oil, rapeseed oil.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. Coconut oil, whatever.
Yep. Right, let's get some of these.
Oh, somebody's already using patchouli. Nice.
This is Patsy. I asked mine which wanted to help me with ancestors, and my amethyst said yes. The other said no. Perfect, though. That's absolutely perfect way of working with the pendulum, to ask it. Yeah, absolutely. This is Nikki.
Mine's not in the mood this evening twice.
And this is Nikki. I work on the theory my ancestors come from the UK, so October is the month, but I do have an added bonus of using our Samhain. I think wherever you are, you'll be able to connect with your ancestors. It doesn't specifically need to be a particular time of the year. Technically, the theory is that the veil is thinner at the two different points of the year, but if you work witchcraft, if you work with magic, you can connect with the ancestor energy any time of the year. This one is Kerry. Have a clear quartz and one with iolite, connecting with the quartz at the moment. Perfect. Debbie, I was on a workshop, so I took a spare. I'd programmed them to work with me. I offered to lend one to someone who hadn't bought one. It refused to move completely. I think you will find that, don't you, with pendulums? Yeah. They do have a mind of their own. They are, they can be fairly picky and argumentative on occasion. It's Maria's using patchouli. Do like patchouli. Yeah, that's lovely. Karen's is a clear quartz crystal point. The clear quartz is such a good all-round one, isn't it? It it does so many different jobs. Perfect. This one, Little Miss Nemo. Oh, I've jumped. Hang on. Right, misplaced my rose quartz pendulum. So using my mother's wedding ring on woolen yarn, act as the kayak wears mummy's face and she's on the other side. Perfect. 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 Mummy loved Yardley violets, so there's a memory and remembering that scent instead of his incense. Perfect. This one is Xenia. I'm using an ancestor incense blend on my non-smoke burner, but I use sage smoke also to draw my pendulum through. I thought that smoke felt appropriate for me. You've got to work with what feels right for you in any of these things, whatever feels right for you. Absolutely. Barbara's using lavender oil. Very nice. And Tammy has an amethyst. Okay, amethyst is another good kind of all-rounder
Yeah.
one as well, isn't it?
The only crystal one that I've ever tried and failed miserably with was hematite.
Oh yeah, that wouldn't work for me. I can't wear hematite.
Yeah.
It makes me feel so heavy. I mean, I know it's a grounding stone, but I feel like I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders when I wear the hematite.
Yeah, it's too strong an energy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, no, the one I've used for years is a red jasper one, and it's the one I go back to all the time. Yeah, I think you're drawn, aren't you, to particular ones? This one is Xenia. Have my brass Isis pendulum since about 2015. Once forgot it in my backpack and then went through airport security. Got frowned upon. Yeah. Gladly, one female security officer knew what pendulums were for. Yeah, that could raise some questions, I would imagine. Can you do this again? As I didn't catch the words. If we smile very nicely at the lovely Ness, she will put the script of the ritual up on the blog.
Yes.
So if you look on the Kitchen Witch blog, not right now, because obviously Ness is here.
Should be there. Right, yeah. Quick.
In the next couple of days, the whole script for the entire ritual will be up on the Kitchen Witch blog. So yes, absolutely. And they're my words, my bad poetry. So you don't have to use those words. You can use words from the heart. You can write something beforehand if you want to. It's basically blessing your pendulum, making that connection with your pendulum and the ancestors, and asking them to lend their energy so that you can work with it for psychic connection. So it doesn't have to be my words, but yeah, they will be up on the blog. So no problems. We've got to looking at Maria can't wear shungite, neither can Xenia. Don't often work with that one. Not one that I often work with. I think
have
I've
a
got
piece on my bedside cabinet. Yeah, it's very good for
help with sleep, isn't it? And EMF things.
Yeah, I have some on my bedside cabinet because obviously my phone charges on there and things. So
right.
I have a piece to help reflect all the electromagnetic doodles.
Tony's working with quartz crystal and dragon's blood incense. Oh, I love dragon's blood incense. Very nice. Let's put Eric under his blanket. There you go. Right. Just scrolling up here. Nikki says, thank you, Ness, for putting the word up for us disorganized. No, I wouldn't have remembered the words either. It's only because I've got a script in front of me. So let's have a quick look at working with it. I'll do what I do, but if the ladies have any other ideas, I'm sure they'll join in, she says, hopefully. I think the best way to do it. First of all, you have to connect with your pendulum and work out which way it's going to swing for you. It's about understanding the directions that it works in. Pendulums can swing vertically, horizontally, in straight lines, but they can also be particularly arsey and do circular movements as well. They can do clockwise, they can do anti-clockwise, they can do the elliptical, they can do bobbing and vibrating, moving up and down. But you have to keep your questions simple. Bear in mind that you can't ask your pendulum, can you tell me what time it is? Because it's not going to be able to answer. It can only really answer yes, no, maybe, I don't know. So you need to work out first. There's no right or wrong here. It's about working out what directions your pendulum works in. And it's about assigning a direction. So I'm going to try and do it in here with the camera. I can work it up a bit. There we are. I don't know about you guys. Thank you, Ness and Heather, for holding yours up there. Look, And I've been shamed Sue into
Yeah.
holding the camera too. Look. I put a little part of the chain goes over my finger, and then
Yeah,
I
I do that. I don't know why. Yeah.
Is that what you guys are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're much all doing the same, aren't
Yeah,
we?
just between thumb and forefinger.
Yeah, it's
Mm.
got to be loose. It's got to be able to move, and then you have to ask it
Yeah,
first
round and
what
round.
direction they are. So, what does no look like?
Mine's going to take off in a minute.
Yes, yes. Sue's in a wind tunnel,
Let's go there.
and mine's going
So
anti-clockwise.
my no goes from side to side.
Okay, what's your
It's
no?
behaving
Yeah,
now.
mine-
Yes. Yeah, you can see mine's going anti-clockwise.
Yeah, mine
Yeah,
knows.
So that's a no.
Forwards.
I usually like to then say thank you to my pen. Thank you,
Thank
because I've asked it a question and it's answered me. So I like to say thank you. This is Kerry. I read somewhere they can change direction in between using them, so you should confirm yes and no before each use. I tend to, just to get that kind of reconnection. So yeah, I would say that is a wise thing to do.
I do it by just saying, "Are you willing to work with me today?"
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Because sometimes
Yeah,
they don't want
that's
to, do
what I
they?
think.
Sometimes they're not having any of it.
Mine's not.
Yeah,
Mine's
Deb
been a
says that.
resounding no ever since I picked it up.
Deb says,
Well,
I
I'm
always
still
ask mine to
saying
show
no.
me yes and
Still
no
don't.
before I begin asking questions. I think it is wise, because if you launch straight into it, first of all, it's bad manners. And we're talking about keeping a relationship here between it. But it's just for clarity as well. So then we're going to ask it, what does yes look like? So I've got a clockwise spin.
Mine goes backwards and forwards.
Cool.
Mine goes
Mine's
side
go
to
backwards and
side.
forwards.
And then I say thank you. I still mine in between. Do you guys still it? Do you hold it to still it after it's done its thing?
I used to, but I was told there's no need to.
Okay.
I find when you say thank you, it automatically
It
stops.
stops. Yeah. And then the last question, of course, is not sure. What does I'm not sure look like? Because sometimes it doesn't know the answer, or it doesn't want to answer you. So I've got
Mine's a clockwise circle.
and I've
Yes,
got
there's
side
mine.
side. Yeah.
Mine is a sort of circle. Mm.
Thank you.
I will say at this point, I've got another question.
Okay.
So my question to mine is, do you want to give me an answer?
Good. Yes. Good. Yeah.
And for
It's
that,
worth checking.
I get an anti-clockwise circle when it doesn't want to. So I'm not sure or I don't know is clockwise, but when it doesn't want to give me an answer, I don't get a no. I get an anti-clockwise circle, so I know that there's something that it's not wanting to tell me.
Yeah.
Because, like me, it's arsey.
No comment. I think the important things there are making a relationship with it and being polite. Try a few simple yes or no questions once you've worked out what ways it's going to tell you. And just thank it after you ask each one as well. I think, I think it just helps with the relationship, but it helps make that break between. It's very useful, but you have to keep things simple. The secret, I think, is keeping your questions really simple so that you get that yes, no, or not going to answer you. Or if it gets confused, you're finished, really, aren't you? You're not going to get anywhere with it. Patsy, my yes is back and forward. I used to still it, but no more. When mine doesn't want to answer, it just vibrates and won't move. Xenia says, for me, don't know is being still. Each one is different. So I find as well, if I use a different pendulum, I'll probably get different movements, which is why it's worth checking each time what the yes, what the no, and what the don't know is. Xenia says, every witch gets the pendulum they deserve. Yeah, I think they do. You are, same as you're drawn to crystals. I think the pendulum's the same, isn't it? You're drawn to the one that's going to work with you. I'm not sure who that is. It's not come up on my phone yet. There we go. Maria. My yes is clockwise circle. No is backwards and forth. And don't know is anti-clockwise in a circular movement. They'll all be different. So long as you clock which one is which, then you're all good. It's all good. But very, very useful. And I think they're also useful if you are working a spell, if you're putting a spell together and you're not sure what herb to use, what crystal to use, what color to use, whether you've got which way you want to go with the spell, you can use the pendulum with yes and no answers to actually put your spell together. I find it quite useful for that if you're not sure about things. But that's it. Any other pearls of wisdom from you guys for working with your pendulum?
You can never have enough.
Yeah, it's like crystals and tarot cards, isn't it? You never have enough. Where do you keep your pendulums?
Mine's on my altar.
This one stays in a little pouch in my handbag, but I have got one on my altar and various ones around the house.
Cool. Heather, sorry.
Okay, so I've got one in the car. I've got one in every handbag that I own, and I have a couple of spare ones too. Oh, and I've got two on my altar.
Ness, can you top that?
No, I have just this one. Though I do have the one I did at the workshop, the Shack workshop that Kitchen Witch did many, many moons ago. But I just tend to use this one mainly, and it's on my altar, but I just have the one. It's the one I'm just drawn to, and I like it. I don't feel it wants me to have any more, if that makes sense. So
It's quite possessive.
I'm quite attached to this one.
Pendulum.
I like it, yeah. I like this
I
one.
think it's like any other magical tool that it is worth cleansing it and recharging it, isn't it, every so often, just so that you give it a bit of oomph. Right, we've got some questions here, so let's have I'm scrolling back. I apologize for looking up and down and working with the screen and my phone at the same time. Kerry uses it to select oracle cards sometimes. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Xenia asked which food or drink is good for me or not. It said a strong yes for coffee. Get a
There's a surprise.
Good pendulum. Keep that one. Patsy keeps hers in a pouch on the altar. Xenia sits on the altar. Yeah, Maria's on the altar. I think a lot of it's kind of a useful place to keep one, isn't it? Debbie says, do you have particular crystals or metals for particular uses? I don't. I tend to use the one for everything mostly.
That's a good question.
I use whichever one's closest.
Yeah.
So I think no is the answer to that one. I can see how that would work though, because if you took the properties of crystals, you could have a healing one, couldn't you? And you could have one for business questions. One, whatever works for you. Who is this that's got a stand for them? Rosemary's brought a stand to hold them. I like that. That's like being in a shop. Karen's on her altar, one in my bag, and some charging on a selenite charging plate. They're very
I'm not the only one that's got multiple ones.
You want to stand now, don't you? Oh, Tammy's hangs on a deer antler at my altar. That's a good place.
Nice.
That's a keep it. Good place
nice.
to keep it. Barbara's in a special beaded pouch in my herb cupboard. Yeah, mine tends to stay in my herb cupboard, I must admit. Kerry keeps hers in a jewelry pouch with the crystal bracelets and crystal rings. Maria puts hers on a long slab of selenite. It's very good for cleansing and charging, isn't it? Karen, I use mine for sending healing to the earth, dowsing chakras when healing, finding ley or energy lines. They are very good for working with the chakras, aren't they, as well? Absolutely. Lots of uses, really. Yeah, I mean, we've only just covered our skin questions, but they are very good for working out which of your chakras are blocked or opened or closed. Healing, finding all kinds of energy lines, ley lines and things, very useful for that. Lots of uses for them. Excellent. So have a play around with them. If you did make your own pendulum or you'd like to share pictures of your pendulum, do please post them in the Kitchen Witch Coven Facebook group, because we like being nosy and seeing what everybody's got. And apparently Heather needs some new ones, so she wants some inspiration.
You've already given me one. I want to make one with a poppy head now.
Oh yeah. I've only got the little tiny poppy heads at the moment, but the really big ones, they work very well. Yeah, they are quite interesting to work with. Oh yeah, Xenia. This is Xenia. She's drinking her coffee from the same witch's brew cauldron mug. Perfect. If you've got any questions,
Is that part of it?
if you've got any questions about working with your pendulum, do pop them on the Coven too, or message us. We'll always help if we can. Excellent. So time to Ness, it's you. Your prompt.
It is the time of the part of the ritual where we feast, we eat and we drink, and we toast our ancestors and raise a glass to them and their energy.
Absolutely.
What's everyone eating and drinking? Well, we know Xenia's got a coffee.
I'm toasting my ancestors.
I've just got a glass of water.
I did have tea, but obviously,
You always have tea. Oh yeah, yes. Tammy's got the same cup as well. Patsy's got tea. Yeah, it's going to be lots of tea, isn't there? Animal crackers. Rosemary has animal crackers and water.
What are animal crackers?
I'm guessing crackers shaped like animals, but I could be wrong. I'm thinking the little ones our kids used to eat that were covered in chocolate, and they were shaped like little animals.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, those.
Xenia has coffee and
Toasting
crisps.
my coffee.
Nikki thinks 7 a.m. is a bit early for whiskey, but that's what my look would expect, or a good brandy. Well, you know, when the ancestors ask, you have to give them what they want.
Not about time, are they? Not really.
Oh, Maria's had curry. It's National Curry Week, apparently. So,
Is it?
Oh, yeah, apparently. I'm all up for that. Yeah. Yes, Rosemary says animal crackers are animal-shaped crackers. Patsy often leaves coffee on my ancestors' altar. Yeah, I've left coffee before and tea. Yep, absolutely. Deb says Scottish breakfast tea with cream and a slice of strawberry rhubarb crisp. Oh, that sounds yummy.
Ooh, nice.
Xenia, but on the altar Xenia's altar has alcohol and sweets for the ancestors and the other spirits as well. They prefer that. Yeah. Hi, Jane. Crumpets and hot chocolate. That's
nice.
Oh, that's me sorted, Jane. That sounds lovely. Oh, Karen's eating curry as well. No, I'm really jealous. Yeah, I'm quite jealous now. Brilliant. Thank you for that. We do like to share.
Sugar-free.
Gin? Who's got gin? Tony's got gin. Excellent. That's very British, isn't it?
Sounds good.
Just gin or G&T? It's not my drink, actually. I must admit, I'm not a big gin drinker. Perfect. So thank you for sharing that with us. We will now close it all down in reverse order as we do. As I say, if you've got any questions about your pendulum or about anything about witchcraft that we can help with, do reach out to us via the Kitchen Witch website, the Kitchen Witch Cobham Facebook page. If we can help you, we will. Just questions, support, whatever it is, might know that you are not a witch alone. If we can help and support you, we will absolutely do so. Reach out to us. We like to help. Makes us feel useful. Tony, G&T. Yeah, good. Tammy has apples and tea out for the ancestors. Apples are very good this time of the year too, aren't they? That's kind of fitting. So if we are ready, we will now disconnect from our sacred space. To the Cailleach, crone and wise one, we thank you for your energy and insight today, and we bid you farewell.
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 Farewell. Standing or sitting with both hands on your heart and say, from my heart.
From my
heart.
Stretching both hands into the air, say to the sky.
To
the sky. Putting both hands on or facing down to the earth, as close as you can, say to the land.
To the land.
Putting both hands on your heart, say, to my heart.
To my heart.
To my heart. Leaving both hands on your heart, say from my heart.
From my heart.
Reaching out your right hand, say from all points of the compass.
From all points of the compass. Reach out to your left hand and place your right hand on your heart and say, from all directions.
From all directions.
From all directions.
Place both hands on your heart and say, to my heart, thank you.
To my heart.
To my heart. Thank you.
To my heart, thank you.
And we are done. Hopefully that has been helpful to some of you. As I say, all the details, the full ritual will be up on the blog in the next couple of days. You don't need to work a whole ritual, obviously, every time that you work with your pendulum. It's just a little ritual to have to make that initial connection if you've got a new pendulum or if you need to feel the need to consecrate, to bless and to charge a pendulum you already have. So a whole load of hearts just went up the screen. Thank you. Yeah, just a little simple one to ease us back into the regular rituals. We're hoping, we're aiming to do them monthly now. So look out, keep an eye out for the next one. And if anyone's local, we will all be at the Wandering Witches in November. Otherwise, thank you all, everyone, so much for being with us. As I say, don't ever feel that you are alone. We are here. If there's anything we can ever do to help and support, do please reach out to us. Thank you, everyone. Eric's just licking the webcam. I don't think that's really what it's for, is it? Yeah.
Hi, Eric.
Oh, bless them.
Mad dog. Thank you all so much, everyone, and thank you for joining us. To everyone, have a wonderful rest of the day, rest of the evening, and we will catch you all next time. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.